This will be a day long remembered. Now I am the master.
Welcome to another episode of Legends and Theories, and welcome to my review of the first two episodes of Kenobi. Sorry, this took a little bit of time to come out. I honestly did not have that much time to record last night. It was actually pretty late and didn't really want to record. And then I didn't have enough time to record in the morning, so I'm recording this at like 12:30. It's probably gonna take another maybe hour at the most to edit it after I get all the screenshots of a Disney Plus, which will be part of that time. So yeah, let's just go into it. A group of younglings are training with a Jedi Master, and it is quickly interrupted as clone troopers begin to open fire upon them. The Jedi Master tries to defend them, but is quickly shot down as we see the devastating effects of Order 66 as these younglings try to escape. 10 years later, we see that Inquisitors have landed upon the world of Tatooine looking for Jedi in hiding, and they go into a cantina where it was rumored to be at. Looking around, the Inquisitors, including the Grand Inquisitor, third sister, and fifth brother. The third sister is very interested in getting this Jedi and is going to attack the locals, even though the Grand Inquisitor and fifth brother do not think it's a smart idea. Although the Jedi does get discovered, he does manage to escape with how overeager the third sister is, which is making the Grand Inquisitor furious since now they have to go find this Jedi once again because of the third sister, also known as Reva. And after this, Obi-Wan Kenobi is shown working at a plant where he is slicing meat from a large creature that is stuck in the sand there. And as Obi-Wan is just going through his daily routine, he sees many things going on as the Empire is becoming stronger, and he returns home where a Jawa is waiting to trade with him, and this Jawa sells him a toy that he intends to give to Luke, and also sells him a part to his own moisture evaporator, which Obi-Wan jokes that he could at least clean before trying to sell it back to him. And with this, Obi-Wan is also offered to be sold the belt of a Jedi who was on the run from the Inquisitors. This does worry Obi-Wan since he could be discovered, but he plays it cool and acts like he knows nothing about the Jedi and gives no hints that he actually is a Jedi in hiding as he sends the Jawa off. Later that night, Obi-Wan is haunted by nightmares of the events that led to Anakin's fall and when he left Anakin burning to what he believed was to his death. Obi-Wan then goes to check on Luke and sees that he ran off from Owen, which really concerned Owen. And Luke is quickly found on top of the house, acting like he is piloting either a pod racer, speeder, or ship. And this does make him have some deep feelings how similar Luke is to Anakin. And after they leave and go back inside, Obi-Wan leaves the toy for Luke. On his way home, the Jedi that was on the run goes in, confronts Obi-Wan, begging him for help, but Obi-Wan, knowing his duty is far more important and not wanting to risk anything, gives the young Jedi some solid advice that he needs to bury his lightsaber and just try to become another person. And with this, the Jedi wonders what has happened to Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan just leaves him to be on his own. Meanwhile, on Alderaan, we see how a young Leia is being very rebellious and wants to go out and just play in the woods. While there's much expected of her, being the adopted daughter of Bail Organa, who is extremely important to the planet. Her mother wants to bring her in and meet with some family, and Leia reluctantly agrees and has to get changed in the speeder. We also see that someone is following them and likely looking to kidnap Leia. Going back to Tatooine, Obi-Wan once again goes to his shift at work, returns to Mos Espa, where he is confronted by Owen, who says he needs to leave his family alone and he cannot be doing this stuff. He doesn't want to be putting his family in danger. And Obi-Wan says that he's trying to look after them, when Owen points out that he's only looking for the potential in Luke to use the Force and refuses to have Obi-Wan get Luke killed like he thinks that Anakin was killed, not knowing that Anakin has actually become Darth Vader. And Obi-Wan also assuming that Anakin is dead, although Owen likely does not know the extent to how Anakin died and just thinks that he has died. After this, Owen walks out and is confronted by the Inquisitors who go to interrogate this large group of people. Once again, Reva goes off the deep end and she goes and tortures and injures some civilians, going up to Owen and threatening to kill him and his family. Obi-Wan watches in horror, but does not know if he should go in to interfere because that will definitely blow his cover, knowing that they are not looking for him and for the other Jedi. Thankfully, the other Inquisitors go and stop Reva from going and killing off Owen, and they try to calm her down, leaving the area. Obi-Wan is relieved and goes to Owen and thanks him, as Owen tells him he did not do this for Kenobi. And we now return to Alderaan, where Leia meets with her family and goes and insults her cousin, who is trying to insult her, saying that she's not a real Organa, and she points out many of his flaws. And although this was justified for her to do to defend herself verbally, her parents are mad because this was supposed to be something to get them closer together, and Leia going and insulting her cousin does hurt this. Bale goes and gets a very in-depth and meaningful conversation with his adopted daughter, and although he thinks he does get through to her, Leia goes outside once again to play in the forest. And at this point, the man that was watching over her earlier has now executed his plan to go and kidnap her. And although Leia is able to use her size to be able to outrun them for at least a few minutes, she eventually is captured and taken away. Obi-Wan is contacted by Bail Organa, who begs him for help to find Leia since she has been kidnapped. And Obi-Wan does not want to leave Tatooine because he is going to protect Luke. Even though Bail pleads, Obi-Wan tells him to find someone else. And after this, Obi-Wan goes once again to work, sees that the Jedi has been killed, and returns home where an alert is set off that someone is in his home. And Obi-Wan goes in to find that Bail is in his house, and he once again pleads for Obi-Wan to go and find Leia. he is eventually able to convince Obi-Wan, who prepares to go off-world after retrieving his lightsaber from the desert to go and save Leia. He lands on the world of Dayu, and when there, he begins to look around to see if there's someone who could help him find Leia. He quickly sees that there is a homeless clone trooper begging for money, and although Obi-Wan does know that the clones went and tried to kill them all, he realizes that this is because they were being manipulated also, and says to have sympathy for the clone and gives him some credits. Meeting up with someone, he asks them if they can give him information on where his kidnapped daughter is, lying about Leia being his daughter since he does not want to make this a big event and not get anyone onto the trail that he is a Jedi. And she says that if his daughter is here, that she will not be found because she used to be someone's daughter. And with this, Obi-Wan does look defeated, and a young child comes and tells Obi-Wan that there is a Jedi that can go and help him find the child he's looking for. And Obi-Wan goes with her and sees this Jedi helping someone escape off-world, although something seems kind of off, and Obi-Wan comes to the man and realizes that he is scamming people and pretending to be a Jedi, and with this, Obi-Wan is able to convince him, using a blaster, to go and find the girl for him in exchange for his life. And with this, he goes and finds her. Obi-Wan is sent to the place, and it turns out to be a spice manufacturing plant where Obi-Wan is forced to go undercover and make a distraction. And once he gets into the place, he is attacked by guards who he quickly takes down and asks where the girl is. He goes in and is trapped inside, when the kidnappers reveal that the plan of Revo has worked, and they're able to easily draw out Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Obi-Wan is quickly able to take them down by dropping spice that was given to him by the one woman earlier, and has them be extremely high on the drug as he goes and finds Leia and begins to escape. The two of them are on the run as Reva arrives and is furious that these criminals have let Obi-Wan escape, and she begins to search for him, although the other Inquisitors show up and once again are furious now that she has kidnapped the daughter of an Imperial senator. And with this, the Great Inquisitor tells Reva that he is going to take over now and that she is to leave. And Reva is furious, hiring a bunch of bounty hunters to go and track down Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan gets to a market where he is able to get clothes for Leia to go into the hiding, as he puts on his robes to help him be more concealed, and continues to move with Leia, who quickly notices his lightsaber and asks if he's a Jedi, and asks him to use his abilities to make her float, and Obi-Wan tells her that he can't do that because it will draw too much attention. He asks her to stay to a corner for a second as he tries to figure out the source behind who sent out the wanted information on him. But Leia sees that he does have this and begins to run away. Obi-Wan tries to chase her through the crowds, and she is noticed. This leads to Obi-Wan being forced to shoot at the bounty hunters following them and create a big scene. Leia is still running from him and goes to the rooftops, where Obi-Wan is forced to get into a shootout with the bounty hunters. At the same time, the Grand Inquisitor and Fifth Brother discover that Reva has placed a bounty on Obi-Wan and are once again furious as Reva notices the shootout between Obi-Wan and the bounty hunters and goes after the Jedi Master. Leia, still trying to escape, tries to jump a large gap, and Obi-Wan once again connects to the Force. Being rusty, he is barely able to save Leia before she hits the ground. And with this, she's really able to believe that Obi-Wan is a Jedi, and they continue to escape, where the Jedi con artist goes and decides to help Obi-Wan, not knowing he was an actual Jedi. He wants to help the Jedi Master escape and gives him a way off the world, since all the spaceports have been shut down. And with this, Obi-Wan goes with Leia to escape the planet, and this Jedi imposter tries to distract Reva, although she knows that he is hiding something with him trying to distract her, and pulls information out of his head to where Obi-Wan is, and is able to catch up with them. Obi-Wan sends Leia into the ship once he realizes that Reva is there, and goes to distract her long enough for Leia to start up the ship. And Reva goes and taunts Obi-Wan and eventually reveals that Vader is alive, shocking Obi-Wan. And Reva also reveals she knows that Vader is Anakin Skywalker, which horrifies Obi-Wan as he truly realizes that he failed to kill Anakin back on Mustafar. And before Reva can find him, the Grand Inquisitor comes up to her and is completely furious at her, telling her that she cannot be going and doing this. Being impulsive, Reva goes and stabs the Grand Inquisitor with her lightsaber, but this gives Obi-Wan the time to escape and gets on the ship with Leia, and Reva swears to track him down. We finally cut to Obi-Wan being completely horrified by what Reva said, and as he says the name Anakin, we cut to Darth Vader inside of his Bacta tank, waking up and preparing to get into his suit. And yeah, I really love this premiere. It took me over a day to record this, but I think they did a really good job with this. And I have seen some other reviews since I really didn't get a chance to record until now. And yeah, looking at some of the complaints, I think the two biggest ones is the Leia chase scene, and that Reva is extremely annoying. And I'll say right now, I didn't mind Reva too much. And looking at some of the other things with the chase scene with Leia, honestly, I think that it's a lot more understandable than many would think, because people think that it's really bad because we see a small child being able to outrun adults who are trained bounty hunters. But she does have a few advantages with her both knowing the terrain and being able to fit through the small cracks, which she is managing to escape through. And I think that is a lot more explainable, and maybe she shouldn't have lasted that long, but at least it does make a good amount of sense to how she is able to escape. Another thing I saw that people had problems with is the fact that the Reva chase scene where she's going to go down to Obi-Wan looked a little too, like parkour like, and she was kind of, wasting time and could have followed him a lot better. Yeah, I think that, honestly, that's sort of a small complaint, they're showing doing show off scenes, which is in the prequels, and I don't mind too much. I think there's some things where it's maybe a little impractical, but as long as it looks good, I thought it looked decent. I don't think completely amazing. I think they're saving some of that stuff for later in the show, but yeah, I really liked that. But there's just not that much I have to complain about with this. I really enjoyed this. I thought they did a great job, and I totally mentioned that. But I think that the opening to the episode with a full recap of the prequels was done really well to show the story and just how Anakin fell to the dark side, the relationship between the two of them, which is going to be so important, and showing off a bunch of important moments like the death of Qui-Gon and some stuff that will set up this show was important to show. I think that this scene was really interesting to see, and it was a great thing for them to do. Looking at some other stuff I enjoyed, I really like that Obi-Wan wants to remain hidden and is definitely suffering from everything he was forced to experience with the fall of Anakin, and how this truly haunts his dreams and wants to try and communicate with Qui-Gon, although it's likely the reason because of how haunted he is by all of this. I also like that we got an Order 66 scene, and once again got to see it. And with this, we get, I was watching this in the Andor trailer, our first look at the outside of Coruscant in a while, because even though we did have the Order 66 scene in Book of Boba Fett, that was all set inside the Jedi Temple. And I'm guessing they probably filmed these two scenes at the same time because they are both set in the Jedi Temple right around the same events. And they would have had people with the costumes and the similar backdrops. So I'm guessing that it would have been a really smart move for them to do it. And it really worked. Obviously, the child is most likely going to be Reva, although they could do some weird twist where it's someone else. This is most likely the reason she knows that Anakin is Vader, because she will see him executing people and likely hear his name is Lord Vader. Although I think she's going to be keeping this quiet because basically, unless Palpatine orders Vader not to execute the people, Vader's going to kill anyone who knows that he is Anakin, since he has been told not to kill Thrawn or Tarkin, who have both basically been able to figure it out because of how important they are to Palpatine's plans. And Vader can't be killing them off just for knowing his real identity, because they were able to piece it together with their experiences with the former Jedi and see the similarities he has to Vader. And it is interesting to know that she does know it, and I'm guessing that has to be how she knows that she probably escapes from the temple, but sees Anakin killing people and hears that he is named Lord Vader, probably being addressed as that by one of the clones, or potentially even Palpatine, because it really depends on how they go with it. It was going to be interesting to see how she knows. And I love that shot of just seeing Vader inside of his Bacta tank, getting ready to be suited up. I think that's a great way to end the second episode and prepare us to see everything going forward. I also really enjoyed the fact that we got to see C3PO in this, and with it, all we have to see now is R2D2 to keep the thing that made Lucas Star Wars extremely special, with it being that the characters of Anakin Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi, C-3PO, and R2-D2 were the only characters to appear in every Lucas Star Wars movie, since obviously Luke and Leia were not born yet in the events of Episode 1 and 2, and Yoda was not in Episode 4 since he was not created yet, and they didn't have a reason to, well, show another Jedi Master because Obi-Wan was to be the only one in that film. And yeah, with this, I really think that it is going to be interesting to just see how this goes because I think R2 will be in this, probably when Leia is returned, and we'll have a nice moment between R2 and Obi-Wan, probably to address the scene in A New Hope where Obi-Wan says he doesn't remember owning a droid. And we'll probably just see that Obi-Wan does recognize R2 there. So we know that he does recognize him, and that is just, kind of a dumb complaint of A New Hope because Obi-Wan never owned R2. And is obviously not going to say, oh yeah, I recognize that droid. It belonged to your father. And to tell Luke all that because both him and R2 still has his memory. Know that they can't let Luke know this yet. And has to be ready for it. And that will be just a nice little scene to see. I'm really hoping we do get it. A few other scenes I really enjoyed, and many others did, is to see this veteran clone trooper be stuck in the streets, and it is really sad to see how the clones are treated, and that they have been forced to live like this. It's interesting to see that he is 501st, and he may even recognize Obi-Wan. And I am excited to see if they have any more appearances from clone troopers, especially Commander Cody, who I think could be extremely interesting to see in this, but I'm not sure if they will go with that. But since I did get Tamora Morrison to come in and play one clone trooper, who knows if they'll be able to get him to reprise his role as Cody. And with this, I think that things are going to be pretty interesting, with Obi-Wan now being forced to go on the run, and now he's probably not going to be able to go back to Tatooine until he's able to fake his death, because he knows that since Anakin is alive, he's going to be now hunting for him, and the Inquisitors will be too, and this will get things pretty interesting. I'm excited to see how they do the Obi-Wan versus Vader fight, because the moment Vader learns that Obi-Wan is alive, he is going to be going straight after his former master, who he's been fantasizing about killing for 10 years. And I just really can't wait to see that. Even though many think that the Obi-Wan and Vader fight shouldn't happen, I think it'll be interesting to see how they do it, and it'll be good as long as they have a good reason for it. And it seems like, right now at least, they do have a good reason. And that's going to be the ultimate thing we do see. I think that Reva is either going to die or turn and then most likely die. I don't think she's going to be making it out of this series alive, which will be interesting to see. And with it, though I did see other people say this, I think I do agree that the reason she hates Obi-Wan so much is because she secretly knows that Anakin is Vader, and with this, she wants to get revenge on him because she blames him for everything that has happened to her being turned into an Inquisitor, the Jedi Order falling, and the Empire rising. And although Obi-Wan does have a part to play and definitely blames himself, it was Anakin's choices and the manipulation of Palpatine that ultimately led to this. and I am so excited to see where this continues. Yeah, I've been working on a lot of long reviews recently. The Stranger Things one was, I think, like 35 minutes long, and this one is just over half an hour right now. I feel like I could just talk about this for so much longer, and I am adding a little bit more in because the editing process took a lot longer than I thought. I had to do a bunch of stuff, but also the method I had to screenshot Disney Plus was forced to be changed. So with it, I had to go and do a separate strategy and try to figure this all out. That took like half an hour. So yeah, this is going out a lot longer than I thought since it's 4:30 right now, even though I finished the video basically at 1:30, just with how much stuff I had to do. And yeah, I'm sorry it took a little too long for this to come out. Looking at it, there was a few things I almost forgot to mention. The one thing is the Grand Inquisitor's supposed death is almost certainly a fake out because we know he's alive in Rebels, and I think it's too convenient for there to be an exact looking character to be coming back and take the role of Grand Inquisitor. Yeah, just kind of my personal thoughts. And there was something else that I really loved about this, and that's how they show how Leia is really like Padme and Anakin. I think that was really cool. Yeah, I think that was extremely interesting to do. I love how Obi-Wan is seeing that in her. I really think they did such a great job in making Kenobi. I really enjoyed the show. I'm so excited to see next week's episode. Yeah, it's already 1:20 right now. I've been probably working on this again for like another hour. Yeah, I want to know what you think so far. Please tell me in the comments. I'll see you all in the next episode of Legends and Theories. Thank you for watching this episode of Legends and Theories. Please subscribe, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, check out the video on screen, and may the Force be with you.